family, I am returned.
Ah, 𝚂𝙸𝙃𝙸. Welcome home.
Status report.
Oh, mate, I just got some scones out of the oven here.
Ooh, bread.
I was just about to get mopping while they sit. As for the others, Door's out in the thicket testing those big guns. Marcus is in an Everclear coma, and Boy is upstairs.
Preparing for a hunt or passed out in stupor. Clear examples of my powerful tutorship.
Marcus is sleeping on the floor and, you know, reflexively punches me when I try to lift him up.
That's my son.
Or he'll put me in a sleeper hold.
So protective.
One time he sleep powerbombed me.
I love him.
Living with you lot is like if wrestling was real.
Yes, wrestling. It is definitely not real. Don't look into it. I have something for you, by the by.
For me?
Yes. Here you are.
Oh, what is this?
A new blender.
Oh, goodness gracious, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, this one looks complex. This must have been a fortune. Where'd you steal it?
Steal? Come now. I bought it.
That's a first.
At the 99p store.
You what?
Yep.
But it doesn't feel 99p.
They don't call me the Duke of Discounts for nothing.
You told me they called you that in prison.
Yes, and many cigarettes had to be and skulls broken into my for hours.
Were they at least bad people?
Most of them.
Right, won't pry anymore, but this blender! Wow!
Wow!
What do all these buttons do? There are like 15 of them.
Wow!
They don't have any markers on them. They're all just blank?
I am sure they blend things.
Wait, why are all the blades shaped like a biblically accurate ophonym?
No clue, but it sure gives new meaning to the term cutting edge.
Actually, the entire blender looks kind of low resolution. Okay, sorry, that makes no sense. I mean, it's an object, but it just looking at it, it looks kind of blurry and undefined somehow.
Please stop complaining about the blender. I'll have to do a nightmare pit to procure.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I don't mean to complain. I just think it's... Wait, pit?
Yes.
In the 99p shop?
Yes.
I suppose you get what you pay for.
Yes. The fucking...
Oh.
Ah, yes! The fruits of humanity, son-in-law! A multiverse of purees, now in the palm of your hand! I cannot wait to see what glorious omelet you might cook in this.
Can't wait! We'll get to blending when we, you know, get back from the chapter house. Oh, speaking of, Door's restored the wall, filled the trap hole, mined the field.
Ever the troubleshooter, that Door!
The way things are going, everything will be patched up in time for the chapter house trip. Can't wait to leave our HQ for a bit, even if it's for Yarmouth.
Oh, eager to get back in the field?
More the opposite. Being chased through my house by a bloodthirsty beast has had me a bit on edge. Just being here where it occurred is kind of uncontrollably anxiety-inducing.
Ah, yes. I forgot you're less acclimated to the lifestyle.
Is it possible to acclimate to almost being killed in your own home?
It's a gradual process.
That's disconcerting.
Hold no worry. You'll find that sleeping in the blood of your enemies is fantastic for your mental health.
Those bloodstains in the cellar have actually had me tossing and turning quite a bit.
The life of a hunter has little comfort to offer, I fear. But I give you my word. So long as we are under this roof, I will do all in my power to protect you.
That's assuring, 𝚂𝙸𝙃𝙸. Thank you. Since the bobbies didn't do any cleaning, maybe you could help me rinse those stains out?
Pressure washer time!
I was thinking mop?
This is wicked vitae we're talking about, and the pressure washer's already loaded with holy water. Let's head for the woodshed.
Why is it in the woodshed?
To hide it from the cops.
Why?
I won't have the Norfolk police adulterate my Sophian holy water with their post-Nicene grease.
My mind is limited in what it can figure. Actually, speaking of bobbies, before he collapsed on the carpet, Marcus mentioned something. Do you have contacts within the local police force or something?
Oh, he met with the Chapman guy, did he?
I guess. He met an officer who claimed to be working with you. Same who was at the well station. Another hunter, it seemed?
Yes, he's the officer who interrogated us. He's also a new friend of mine. He's been covering things up for us. It's probably why we ought to return to the house so soon.
Goodness. That's great, actually.
It is. So, if you see him around, be only marginally worried. He's an ally.
I never thought you'd make friends with a cop, huh?
And I never thought they'd let me back into the Holy See! Now, Rajawasha time!
Right, good. Might be something worth mentioning to Boy. He is, a bit paranoid as of late.
Smell that. Smells consecrated. Ah, yes, and Boy. That's not too surprising.
I'm a tad worried. He hasn't slept soundly since the 𝚂𝙗𝙗𝚃𝙸𝙾𝙀 thing, and especially for an 11-year-old, that's quite bad.
Yes, the 11-year-old mind does need its 3 hours of daily rest, unlike the adult brain.
As of late, he's been madly rambling about horse.
I am aware.
I think his lack of sleep mixed with the absinthe he's been chugging to and fro has led him to believe that horse is a vampire or a demon or something.
That rapscallion. I remember sneaking into my grandfather's wine stash as a lad. I mean, it is quite normal for a newly awakened hunter to experience delusional nadirs. Though Boy was better primed than most, he is only an 11-year-old man. His world has surely collapsed in on itself. It will take time for him to find himself in this new paradigm, but that does not mean we cannot help him find his way.
Oh yeah? How?
Moratorium time! No more drinking!
Oh, thank God.
Psychedelics and cigars only!
That's not much better.
But it is better.
Arguably?
I've never lost an argument in my life. Checkmate! Let's go! Pressure water! Get!
Okay. Oh, my noggin's pounding.
Oh, but the pounding has yet to begin. We haven't even broken into the Arcanum yet.
Do we have to break in? Can't we just
Nope.
knock?
Oh,
Call?
no.
Send a letter?
Son-in-law, you know full well we would sooner be subject to sniper fire than be let in again.
Reynald Blacklaw, yeah, ancestral blood feud and all that. But the Chancellor would surely listen.
Would he though?
If he heard there was an imposter in the chapter house, yeah, I think he'd let us in.
We will still need to get through Reynald. Breaking in is our best bet. Even if he were to accost us before we can get to Arkham, he will have to face us in hand-to-hand combat.
I'm just gonna lug around my spear the whole time, I think.
Yes, that would be funny and good. Especially given the presence of that Blacklaw hooligan. Oh, and that ghoul Kevin told me about.
Goodness. The prospect of one of our own being a traitor is frightening.
It certainly is. But without our skills, that ghoul might jeopardize all the hunters in Norfolk. You got the cellar keys, by the way.
Sure, yeah, just a... Oh, shit. Open!
I love locks! Conceptually, anyway.
Watch the second stairwell. There's still something horrifyingly slippery down there.
Wait!
What?
Hear that? Vermin.
Bloody hell, we got rats again? Oh, that's one large rat. Oh no, I've got to hide all my old scones.
Caution, dear lad.
Caution?
You do remember what we talked about, right? About vampires and their helpers not bound by the night. Our corners and our walls might be subject to their rule. Caution, dear lad. This could be a ghoul.
What? I mean, really? Are you serious?
I do not delegate poetic whims to mere jest, son-in-law. This is now a hunt.
Oh, goodness gracious.
We can't possibly locate it like this. We'll scrounge forth the tools necessary to destroy this noxious beast.
Oh, we have to kill it?
Come, we must get the ear trumpet.
Trumpet? For listening through the walls?
Of course. Quickly and quietly. It should be in the random shit vault.
The old stilt storage.
That's the spice. Tactical retreat!
Oh boy. Sir, we've only briefly talked on ghouls in the past.
Of course. Delicious omelette.
Can we talk a bit more in-depth on them as a quarry?
Ho, ho, ho! Would you put it like that? How could I not? I'd actually been meaning to, I have something secret and highly sensitive to divulge to you and only you!
Certainly.
The ear trumpet should be with the ear muffs and the ear vacuum and the ear jar, wherever those are.
Not the ear jar.
Whilst we look, let us get some ghoulish gossip going.
Right. Would you mind if I wrote stuff down?
That is certainly a better use of your time. Leave the trumpet sleuthing to me!
So, I'm just going through my old notes on ghouls here. Blank body serfs. Mortals grown addicted to blank body ichor. They serve their masters with impassioned devotion. They carry a, quote, whisper of a blank's abilities, quote, smatterings of blank body magics. They can act as spies, reporting breaches in the code of silence that blank body under societies impose. That's all I've got.
Canny summation of the ghoul vassal, if I do say so myself. But like the bog, your brain yearns for more to haplessly sink into its depths.
For sure, sink away. You could liken me to the Norfolk Broads.
Oh, wasn't expecting such vulgar humor out of you, son-in-law.
You what? Oh, no, I meant, you know, I like Norfolk's the wetlands.
The tissue dig grows ever deeper, ever more moist. Get out, quickly! Quickly, you'll sink!
All right. What I'm trying to say is, I've been in it for a bit now, and I do try to follow your example with practical learning, but I love theory.
You do.
I cannot get away from the fact that I love theory.
True!
So I just want to pick your brain a bit. It might help us with spying some clues that can help us spot the ghoul easier.
Your wisdom is vast. Allow me to rip my brain forth and present it to you, warts and all. You have officially entered Ghoul School, dear student. And your first lesson? Well, I'll let you plan your own curriculum, so we avoid another letting the vampires drink each other for power scenario.
Marcus would love to do that too.
We'll talk about that. Ooh, I found my old humor extractor.
Right, grand. So then, I have a first subject, just laying out the basics.
Topic 1. How is a ghoul created and what is their role?
How is a ghoul created and what is their role?
For our purposes, a ghoul is simply a living thing that has drank vampire blood.
That's it? What about the whole blood slave angle?
A ghoul is not necessarily a serf, nor even a regular vitae drinker. What's more, the word is actually something of a slur in origin.
What the hell? We're referring to them by a slur name, Sir D?
Yes, and there's several different kinds of hells, too.
What?
The term ghoul stems from the imbalanced power dynamic between them and their Domitors. A vast gulf hewn out by the vampiric elite. Whilst derisive, it is the standardized term for non-vampiric vitae drinkers, even among the more progressive of their kind. And so far, I've never heard a ghoul use any other moniker.
In our ignorance, I suppose we'll have to settle for it?
Things will change once we mass evaporate enough of the vampire elite, I assure you.
But I'd still assume a, ghoul has a particular role in vampiric society, yeah? You frame them as the vamp's eyes and ears during the day, helping prevent the truth of their existence from being discovered.
This is true of many ghouls, but not all. They're the servant class of the vampires. Greater than us kind in their estimations, but still decidedly subordinate and inferior. As such, they can perform many menial tasks for their Domitors. Spies, guardians, butlers, custodians. Some even have no true purpose to their power-broking schemes, and are kept merely as trophies, pets, or companions. So, in a way, does someone who earns a wage have a particular role in our society? It's the same answer.
Is that an apt comparison?
Yes! Much like the peasant class, they are defined by their exploitation by blood-sucking vampires.
Ah, like me old manager.
You get it! The difference is that ghouls too suck. A horrid, awful example is a ghoul we hunted 11 years ago in Poland. Her name was Primordial Hag 𝚂𝙁𝙸𝚃𝙸𝙾𝙽, a title she herself insisted upon. She was an amazing, but complex woman. Upon courting me in the tranquil embrace of a Wednesday's twilight amidst a holy grove at the ancient Oakland, I soon learned of her fatal addiction. She, the faithful serf of a vampire wizard, one we had tracked through the slow stilling of the local pulse, was the perfect embodiment of the normative thrall rule. Bound tirelessly to her Domitor, she was their eyes and ears. She acted as clandestine agent and a lethal hand in her Domitor's domain. She also served as an economist, a chauffeur, a maid, and a reserve blood bag, all in one sorrowful symphony of servitude.
Relatable.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Sorry.
What? Body burying! She also buried bodies.
Oh.
And took care of the camels.
Camels in Poland.
The camel ghoul, son-in-law. Camels.
We have gone too far. So she was a normative ghoul.
More or less. Ha-ha! Yes!
Oh, you found the ear trumpet?
By human hearing, we are no longer bound. We trumpet by ear. Our prey will be found.
You inspire endlessly, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, but for, what was her name? 𝚂𝙁𝙸𝚃𝙸𝙾?
Primordial Hag 𝚂𝙁𝙸𝙃. Yes.
Sure, sorry. How exactly could she put up with all that?
Well, past the impossibly addictive nature of the vitae, there's also the blood bond.
Blood bond, okay. I think that's a new one. Let's go with that for our next topic.
Certainly! Let's keep up our discussion as we head out. But first, let us see what we might have gained. All right, trumpets up to my ear, say something funny.
Something funny.
Ah, my ear!
I'm sorry?
Perfect! With war gear in hand, this is where the hunt truly starts. Let us go!
Right, so what is the blood bond?
It is a truly, unquestionably vile thing. The blood bond is to take the very essence of a person and wring it whole in chain. To enslave someone's very thoughts.
Like, convince them that the thoughts and actions of their bondee are their own?
In a way, son-in-law, but much worse. The blood bond is, to most, completely indistinguishable from the natural feelings of loyalty, faith, duty, and love. The blood-bonded brain will do its all to trick itself into believing that these feelings, and anything demanded of them by their regnant, are legitimate, justified, and good. It can warp a thrall's very perception of reality, changing it to a world where their regnant is the undisputed center.
That is undoubtedly scary. But being blood bonded is not a prerequisite to being a ghoul.
A question with an irritating answer. It is not, but Almost all ghouls who drink directly from a Domitor are immediately bound in some way via the first drink. It is often assumed to be a prerequisite, because their bond exists from the first drink. It is only after the third they are truly enthralled. But depending on how frequently they are fed and how attentive their regnant is, ghouls can either be slavishly devoted or fiercely resentful of this situation. This all entirely assuming that they're drinking fresh vitae from the source, and not vitae that has sat and had the blood bonding effect go out of it. In the end, a liar is someone who has lied. A thief is someone who has stolen. A rat is someone who has talked. A liégeois is someone who has, for whatever fucking reason, decided to live in Liege, Belgium, and honestly hasn't had the sense to leave yet. I mean, honestly!
In short, 𝚂𝚳𝙸𝚃𝙸🡪.
And a ghoul is someone who has drunk vampiric vitae. The qualifier is only that you have committed to it once, and the label is not necessarily a permanent one. That is all a ghoul is.
Ah, right, got it. Okay. So this slavishly devoted part of our summation of ghouls is the result of this blood bond and not actually necessarily part of being a ghoul, yes?
Well, yes and no. Don't do that.
Ah, son-in-law, it is me, 𝚂𝚳𝚃. I am a font of inspiration and ideas.
Oh, you pernicious prankster.
Sorry.
Oh, well, let me elucidate. Right, so, drinking blood. Have you drunken blood?
Closest I've gotten to is a rare blue steak, maybe wet black pudding. Oh, when Marcus impacted me and we flew into the bus
A
together.
blemish on your gastronomic repute!
That still hurts.
But good for our exposition. Your regular fellow does not drink raw blood. For the purposes of this generalization, we are excluding Boy, Dor, and the fearsome Mongol hordes of Genghis Khan. But yes, you would not drink raw blood. Especially not raw human blood. Especially not directly from some nasty dude's wrist. That's grody! Disgusting! Why ever do it? This is a call to engagement, son-in-law! Why would someone drink from the grody man's wrist?
My assumption was that they were simply forced to drink. Kevin used a strange mind trick to prevent us from moving back in the Bidham tunnels. In such a way, they could force their ghouls to drink their blood and then,
Say no more, for you are completely wrong, son-in-law.
Good, I am learning.
Whilst many are forced or even tricked into drinking it, the vampire's vitae activates something in the brain upon so much as getting close to it.
Activates?
Concept of free will is blasted into the realm of myth as you, small lad scared by slightly too big chicken, suddenly guzzles down that foul corpse liquid. No, that irresistible wrist nectar with no fear, no disgust, and barely any notion of what you're doing.
That is as appalling as it is worrying. And once you drink...
You are ghouled. And so met with a craving that would take other drugs weeks to engender. And from there, the spiral only deepens.
Given that, the blood bond just kind of comes naturally for most ghouls, I take it.
It does. We have both the incredibly addictive vitae in of itself, hitting like no other barbiturate. Then, there is the blood bond, which materializes the more someone drinks of the same vampire's vitae. As I heard it from Rosalia, she drank 3 separate times on 3 different occasions, 24-something hours between each drink. After that, the bond took a complete stranglehold.
And much like her, that is when a ghoul becomes their Domitor's retainer, basically.
Their trusted retainer, at the least. Even if they were originally unwilling, like Rosalia was. They are now both addicted and bound to the will and vitae of the vampire, overwhelmed by an uncontrollable feeling of loyalty and desire for their heinous master. That slavish devotion to the vitae comes in 2 for many, or just in 1 for some.
The ability to mess with the brain like that, the thing that makes us... us.
You can just imagine the breadth of power fantasies enacted by those vampires willing to abuse it. Enslave your past bully, enslave your working staff, enslave your desired lover.
That is beyond horror.
Oh yes, but believe you me, it gets far worse.
Really? Oh, goodness.
But not yet! The rat awaits, child! We will have to pace ourselves like we're out pubbing in Great Yarmouth!
So, spot of tea followed by a crack injection?
What the? You don't inject! So tell me, do you believe Yarmouth is fundamentally broken on some spiritual level?
Yes.
Might it somehow connect with the 99p stores and the mini golf courses?
Oh, I am sure.
The masters of these accursed places must be hunted down! The clubhead, the groundkeeper, all bound for annihilation, much like the British royalty. Oh, Queen Victoria, you'll rue that day yet!
Fairly sure Queen Victoria's dead.
I'm sure you are, but I'm not convinced.
Well, before we get back to the hunt, let me ask. Are there vampires who never actually blood bond their ghouls?
Certainly. I've known vampires who refuse the blood bond out of principle, but still feed vitae to their ghouls. They need only be careful.
So, not all ghouls are blood bonded, but all who are blood bonded are ghouls?
Yes! Except vampires. Well, vampire ghouls are, for our purposes, technically a thing, but it would many times come across as immensely derogatory to call a vampire a ghoul.
Because it's a slur?
It's more that it's an immediate turning of their social order, placing one of the kindred in the same position as their slaves.
So, what? According to those who structure power in their societies, a vampire cannot be a ghoul by definition?
Yes! And it's not a definition we have to use. Their definition is formed and enforced by societal standards, traditions, and their hierarchical order. So, if you want to insult a high-flown vampire wizard, defy them and insist upon calling them a ghoul. Just don't let them touch you.
Oh, we are really getting stuck in now. But look, while we're talking terms, I have a new topic.
Very good! But before that...
Oh, right, the hunt, sorry.
My augmented ear must ascertain the creature's current location.
What are you...
I'm listening for movements through the wall.
Isn't it trickier to listen through the house's exterior wall than doing it through the walls inside?
I hear it!
I guess not.
Wait. I think this rat has 8 legs?
8 legs?
What poor freak has invaded our home? If they are able, they will soon come to regret it. To the kitchen!
The kitchen? All right, maybe I can pack away the scones I made before they dry.
I shall open the kitchen window!
What should I do?
Here, take this ear jar!
What? Holy shit!
Oh, no, I thought you'd catch
Why
it!
bring the ear jar?
You'll have to do. The irresistible smell of meaty ears will surely attract that morbid pest.
Whose ears even are these?
They're labeled with hexadecimal serial codes behind the lobe so I can keep track. But it doesn't matter now! Leave these ears in peace.
Oh, boy.
We will take our vantage point outside the window. When the beast strikes, we will snipe it with a powerful pressure washer. We'll hit it so hard, even the Regnant will feel it.
Okay. We're just gonna sit here in the yard?
I love the yard!
Fair. You'll clean up the ears, yeah?
Sure, if there are any left.
Good. Whew. Mind if I bring up another topic?
Bring them like boots up the mountaintop.
What is a Domitor and what is a Regnant? I've heard you use the words Regnant and Domitor a few times now. Are those real titles used by vamps? And is there some kind of distinction between the two? They just feel like different words for master.
Yes, these are real terms used by real actual uppercase V vampires that are real and actual. I've heard the titles of Ghoul and Domitor, as well as Thrall and Regnant, from multiple unaffiliated sources. At least in the West. Also, Lickmaster, Vaddie, Big Papa, but those are just perverse.
How charming.
And to answer your second question, these are not, in fact, synonyms. They are distinct. First, we have a Ghoul and the Domitor. A Domitor is the blood giver, whilst the Ghoul is the blood recipient. That is actually as simple as phyllo cheese pie, but it is, of course, purposefully dressed in the language of master and slave. Because everything vampires do is...
That tracks. Every other word out of 𝚂𝙁𝙗's mouth was a master-slave dichotomy. Man, these vampires sure love their class systems. What of the Regnant, though? What's that term all about?
The Regnant-thrall relationship is a step beyond. See, a thrall is one whom is blood-bonded. A Regnant is a blood-bondee. Here, the master and slave analogy is far more literal, an inseparably attached imposition on the existence of the bond. A ghoul is many times also a thrall, but not necessarily. Do you understand?
Ow. Naturally. And I suppose thrall is equally as derisive a term within the same context?
Not always.
No?
Unlike the term ghoul, a vampire can also be named a thrall. In fact, the normative assumption is that when you speak of a thrall, you're talking about a blood-bonded vampire, as the whole society is structured around it being given that a ghoul is always blood-bonded. Using thrall to describe a ghoul is meant to be redundant. Which, you know, it isn't. But I want you to think it is. As an example for a vampire thrall, take primordial hag Rosalia's Regnant. That foul sorcerer had another one blood-bonded to them. The lowly magi they had sired. For as bad as the Regnant thrall titles sound, it is the norm in certain social cliques for vampiric thralls to proudly name themselves such, as they partake in a bond or blood wedding, as they might grossly name it. Such self-debasement, whilst frowned upon in many societies, is often not considered an act of social upheaval or a degenerative taboo. Rather, it is considered a noble and necessary recognition of an inevitable hierarchy that serves to keep social order intact. That is, of course, unless the blood bond was imposed by someone of lower clan onto a kindred of higher clan, say.
Oh god, two wholly different kinds of caustic jargon.
Two? Ha ha! Who's keeping count, eh? Count! Like Dracula! In summary, not all ghouls are thralls, and not all thralls are ghouls. Same for Domitors and Regnants.
The vampire elite really loves to use norms as a weapon, huh?
Much like any elite.
That's true. Now, okay, this is all fine and good. Or, no, excuse me, this is god-awful.
True! Except for the god part, probably.
A serf willing to do anything at the call of someone as morally bankrupt as 𝚂𝙁𝙗. I can see just how dangerous that is. And there is no limit to how many ghouls or bonds a vampire can have either?
The only limit lies in how much vitae a vampire can give.
Goodness gracious. But as I understand it, that's still not even as bad as it gets, yeah?
Oh! No, 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 no. No, 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 not by far. The eight-legged rat thing we now hunt? Likely a hateful example of just that.
Wait. Sir! My scones!
Your sconers?
My scones!
Your sconies?
Look! Through the window! They're bloody gone!
Scans.
Scones!
Gnomes!
Did the thing take them? Or is Marcus awake?
Damnation! Into the house, quickly!
Marcus?
Marcus, have you eaten 20 scones at one sitting again? No response. Doris out firing guns and has been in a ration-type mood all week. And boy does not eat bread or British food.
Sir, look! A trail.
It leads out onto the pool deck through the window.
Should we follow it?
Yes.
Oh god, my scone!
We've been sconed! Quickly, but quietly. Open the door out into the deck. Be wary. We do not know what this creature is capable of.
Right. Blimey, that reminds me. Ghoul Powers. There's the matter of the smattering of vampire magics that you mentioned. They gain a whisper of their master's powers. What does that entail exactly?
I will not lie, dear boy. I will not lie. But I will get entirely within your personal space, okay? What I'm about to divulge is of the utmost sensitivity and confidentiality. You, I can trust with it. But the others, not quite yet. Have faith that I will tell them when the time is right, and not a second sooner. Understand me, dear boy?
Okay.
But I will first point out the Scown Trail. The Scran, the Scroak, the Skrelv, the trail. It leads to the pool house.
Oh, it does. But what an odd trail.
From the window onto the pool deck to the pool house. Scran, the scone snatcher, was following the very edge of the deck, pressed against the house walls, until it ducked beneath the deck table, then sprinted into the pool house.
Is it because of the rain? Because that would be odd. If we assume that this is like an 8-legged rat, rats aren't known to fear a light rain like this. Could this be a ghoul thing?
Ghouls can inherit flaws from their master, or develop new idiosyncrasies. But I've never heard of a fear of rain. We had better move quickly.
Right. I'll open the door. Oh, goodness!
What a bloodbath! Or perhaps a bread bath?
My scones! My fine home-baked scones! Ripped apart like the common 99p loaf!
I'm so sorry, son-in-law. We should never be a victim in the fight against evil.
I wanted to treat the arcanum to my family's scone recipe again.
Hold a moment. The creature could still be here.
What?
There's an easy way to figure that out!
No, wait.
Go!
The water jet's etched itself all over the woods. Oh, the pool house and the deck stains all patchy and... Oh god, a plank snapped!
Son-in-law, look.
What?
Son-in-law! Look closer.
Oh. It wasn't visible under the deck stain. But now that it's been blasted away and I have to repaint it again...
Focus.
Sorry. These are claw marks. But they're only here, and they've left almost like small craters behind them.
Can you suss out what happened?
Oh shit! There's a small dent on the roof right above. Did they jump up onto the roof from here? Can they do that?
Let me tell you about just that.
Sure, but what if it can hear us?
We'll move out and go to Dor's workshop. Given our findings, the creature seems to not like rain. It's likely hiding by the chimney. Or perhaps even in the attic.
Okay. We'll go get one of the ladders. Let's go.
Listen close. The vampire is two things. The body and the vitae. The human and the beast. The good and the bad. And sometimes the ugly, but that's three. Now, several millennia ago, an ancient canine was subject to venereal tumors.
What? Canine? Not canite?
We're talking dog cancer now! In a freak accident by nature, the tumor cells in this dog would mutate, gaining the ability to infect other dogs like a pathogen. These venereal tumor cells would essentially become an entity all their own. A unicellular, an immortal life form that could spread from body to body, bringing its deadly affliction to millions upon millions of dogs all across the globe.
The fuck?
Yes! The Vitae is a life form alien to its host that co-opts the corpse of a human, taking its hands, its heart, its mind, and memories, puppeteering it like the zombie and fungus, fighting its host to meet its own desire of eating, and spreading its infection further. And cordyceps, that's the
For
name.
the fungus or the dog tumor?
Does it matter? Dear boy, these are what curses are. These are the great calamities we set ourselves against. And a small part of the Vitae, that life form, that living curse, is spread into the still living form of another, to make a ghoul.
A vampire's blood does its all to give their host a shot at their new role as predator. I take it does similar things to ghouls? Is that where you're going?
Correct. But much like how it manipulates the mind and body of a dead host, it creeps in the same way into the still animated tissues of a living one, though in a far more limited regard. It is like the human body, whilst it still brims with life, fights against the undead agent infiltrating its body. A war fought between good and bad, and sometimes ugly, within your very flesh.
That's an inspired analogy, I must say. But, whilst the vampire blood asserts its control, I take it the ghouls are able to make use of the same arcane abilities that their Domitor employ? I mean, since a part of their Domitor is now part of them, yeah?
Certainly. By and large, their powers are very limited. Increased strength, resilience, and bodily generation come most naturally. The overwhelming majority of ghouls I've met are limited to just those. But other powers are not outside their grasp, provided their Domitor possesses them as well. In addition, it demands intense training for a ghoul to master even the most basic of disciplines. So it was for primordial hag Rosalia, and a few other ghouls I've happened upon.
So if 𝚂𝙁 had a ghoul, say, could they be able to go invisible and juggle a dumpster? Here you go, by the way.
Thank you. Well, not in the way 𝚂𝙁 could, of course. A theoretical 𝚂𝙁 ghoul could train themselves to use a form of invisibility, but one that only works if the user is totally still. Alternatively, they could attain an ability to punch hard enough to easily break a leg, but not much more than that.
There's just a lot of different vampire types out there, isn't there? And I'm sure we haven't even catalogued half of them. We can't even know what ghouls can do because we barely even know what vampires can do yet.
This is true! And there are as many ghoul variants as there are vampire variants, if not more. But once we get on that roof, we can add another one to our index.
Oh, ladder's here, by the way. Wait, shit, this one's too short.
I couldn't even use that for my extemporalized pole dancing!
There should be another one here somewhere. Oh, here. Wait, this one's also too small.
There's a wooden ladder in Horse's house, right?
Yeah. Yeah, alright, we'll go get that one, I suppose. I could have sworn we had a bigger one in here.
Whoa, horse time!
In regards to this one, like as far as they go, I mean, Ghoul Variants. I take it this one is at least not your standard ghoul.
Based on the clues presented thus far, of course not!
Since there's a lot of variables involved, what do you reckon this ghoul could be? Some type of fell muck-wielding ghoul empowered by their Domitor? Or an ultra-slick, nigh-invisible skulker?
Let me lay some groundwork. Starting off, there is of course natural variance from ghoul to ghoul, depending on who their Domitor is. The thralled ghoul is the thing that the vampiric elite would list as the only legitimate kind of ghoul. But for as much as I make fun of the blue-blooded vampire snobs, I too think this next ghoul variant is a dangerous thing to talk openly about. This is another important factoid that I bestow upon you in confidentiality, son-in-law.
And that variant is?
The independent ghoul.
Independent? Like, the non-thrall variety? Is that not better in every way?
It certainly is, that may be clear. Independent ghouls are good. I wish independence for every ghoul out there, before they liberate themselves from the Vitae entirely. To much of vampiric high society, however, they are living, walking masquerade breaches. They do not act in accordance with their norms and traditions, and thus are treated worse than even the half-blooded daywalkers.
Ah, yeah, daywalkers. I quite pitied the daywalker we hunted. Nothing like 𝚂𝙁 or Kevin in a lot of them. You had mentioned they are severely oppressed in vampiric society. Are you saying independent ghouls are even worse off?
Without a doubt. They're often despised among the kindred elite and blood-hunted all over the world. These creatures are meant to be on a leash, after all. A masterless hound that can unwittingly destroy an entire society cannot be allowed on the street. And so, independents usually work in secret, largely with more progressive vampires, or those that are also under the big boot, like the daywalkers.
So how do you work as an independent ghoul?
Well, again, there are many ways. Often they have multiple different donors, getting vitae where they can find it, but always being wary of the blood bond. That's essentially it. Outside of that, you're independent. You can do whatever.
Cracker's at it with his primal scream therapy again.
Neighbors.
Holy shit! Oh no.
He'll be all out of house before long.
Have you seen his house? It's submerged in a ditch and has a tarp for a roof.
An upsetting figure. If he weren't such a loose cannon, he would make an excellent hunter.
He's too busy digging for 𝚂𝚗 treasure.
Oh, speaking of loose cannons, there are also our twisted allies in Hunter Ghouls.
Hunter ghouls? Oh. Oh. Right. Things are starting to click.
Good. As you can imagine, they are hunters who hunt down, stake, and then keep their quarry, to carefully feed off of until the stock runs dry.
Right. I understand. It's on the brink of what we do, innit?
That's right. We only extract information. Thus far.
Don't like that implication.
Another thing we do not do is sling vitae. Could have made some serious dosh in Yarmouth had we kept those canites staked.
I'm not sure.
I jest, of course. There's about 12 good reasons not to sell vampire slave drugs. But many an independent manages to do it for a living, using the same vampiric powers against those that would call them thralls and cattle. It's a serious hustle. One has to respect it. But I'd never condone it. You lose too much of yourself to vitae once you imbibe it. What else? We also have ghoul families.
Like, families that are all ghoul.
That exists too, but no. I mean ghouls that have been so ghouled that they pass on their ghouldom to their ghouldren.
Horrible. Much like a rare blood disease, then. The vitae spreads from mother to child.
As far as I know, that isn't a natural process. But there are ghoul families so embossed with their master's vitae that they even produce vitae of their own. These individuals are called revenants, and are typically deeply loyal to a given clan, sect, or bloodline.
That's interesting. Oh god, what if 𝚂𝙁 was planning something like that?
Piotr babies? I refute the very notion! But no. Oh, and speaking of family... Horse, my baby boy! How's father's little giant? Yeah.
Hello, horse.
Please, eat my apologies, horse. You're still a bit queasy, aren't you? You have your father's eternal respect for the strength you've displayed these past few nights. We're looking for a ladder, by the way. We suspect there might be a ghoul on or in our roof. Oh, certainly. Death will come slowly.
Oi, actually, the potential ghoul on the roof? Just making sure, it is an animal, yeah? You had already mentioned animal ghouls previously.
Of course! Animal ghouls are limited in what they can do, but immensely versatile. Imagine a peregrine falcon acting as your eyes. Imagine a rhinoceros as a mount. Imagine giving a dog the power of a gorilla. Imagine giving a gorilla the power of a double gorilla. Imagine a whale. I don't know how that works, but just think about whales for a second. These things are all possible, provided you have the vitae to spare. And a familiar like this is, evidently, something our Domitor has invested in. Isn't that just wacky off the walls, dearest horse, kindest horse, fairest horse in all the land of Angor? Yeah. He says he would run it over, stomp it into the ground, and then crush its skull in his big mouth should it near his home. Oh, but he'd only eat it if it was made of plant or whatever. He is a horse, of course.
Plant?
Plant ghouls!
Plant?
Yeah, however it's pronounced. It's rare, as it demands a touch of thaumaturgy.
Like blood sorcery?
Indeed. With it, it's possible to grow a garden of blood-addicted plants that are excellent for disposing of bodies. Rousselia's job only got a touch easier and a whole lot more dangerous when that viscera garden was grown. There's also the plant people that certain blood sorcerers can create. Haunting human simulacrums made from plants, such as the mandrake. Those are able to perform only the most basic of tasks, though.
Unfathomably creepy.
Yes, keep the law never mowed, son-in-law. Never mowed. Wait, that's Horse's job. Don't steal Horse's job.
I never dare. Why are we here again? Oh, that's right. Ladder. Over here. Oh, God. It's also too small.
Or are we too big?
I swear, where is the bloody ceiling ladder? I know we had it in the workshop before.
The tall one?
Yes.
Ah, that's right. I put that one in the chimney.
You what?
Well, I had to see where the secret chimney door in my room went.
What?
Yeah, there's like this secret door in the chimney wall in my room. Actually, it leads all the way up to the roof.
It does?
Yes. Oh, how could I have forgotten? Let's go climb the chimney.
Holy shit, what is going on?
Bye, horse! I'll come back with dinner in just a bit.
Secret door, chimney ladder. Oh God, just ignore it for now. Just ignore it, just ignore it. You know, with all this in mind, with how the ghouls are made, I really can't get in the headspace of someone who'd do any of this. It's gross, immoral, senseless, all kinds of bad words.
There are not enough bad words in the world's collated lexicon for the true depths of evil that can be inflicted on mankind by the worst of these slavers.
Really? And these true depths of evil? What do they entail?
I will not linger on this for long, as these things are It is where the mind wanders unwillingly. Thoughts of those victims that have you feeling like you aren't doing enough. That you need to do more.
And what are done to these victims?
Lobotomized servitors drunk on the vitae, the freedom and personhood stolen from them. They take these people, like you, like me, like our family and friends. Imagine it! The complexity of our lives, the worth we place in our memories, our abilities, our moments, and our place. They take it! They take it and literally mold them away in favor of grotesquerie with the hateful, hateful magics! They form and reshape their minds, their bodies to shapes and sizes utterly inhuman. They trap these people within their own skin as they take their all, and like vile caricatures of sculptors, carpenters, crafters, and leatherworkers, these fiends fashion their desires out of their victims. Living furniture that cannot scream, walking blood taps with spigots of innards, animated art mercilessly bent at just the perfect angle. Gargoyle folk bound by ritual to a particular place, ever to guard it, unable to leave it. Blood-bound cabals of wizards and fae, the pure stuff of raw imagination, squeezed and siphoned until nothing remains. People turn to bird feeders for unspeakable specters, hungrily eating their flesh, their essence, hulking abominations made of entire families, parents, grandparents, children, their sinew and flesh inseparably fused like sickly mixed mince. This all...
Stop!
This all is...
Stop! Stop. Okay, stop. I don't need to hear anymore.
Apologies, son-in-law. I got carried away.
It's fine. It's just... I don't like this. At all. It makes me want to... This all makes me want to...
Do more.
Yeah. I want to... save this person. In the chapter house, I mean. Whoever it is. They deserve better.
You won't save just them. You will save them all.
So... what should we do once we find this... poor thing in our house?
Kill it, probably.
Really?
I'm sorry, son-in-law, but it would be best to save this poor animal from its misery.
That is how we save them? But wait, what about the ghoul in the chapter house? Are we going to kill them?
No! Not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
We can see what we can do. I'm optimistic. I think capturing the chapter house ghoul will be largely a triviality. After that, it's up to us figuring out the finer details of their ghouldom, and just how deep it goes.
The going theory is that the ghoul infiltrator is one of the people already inside the Arcanum chapter house, and no secret person X, no animal, and no bloody plant. Was that right?
Yes, skipping some details, what Kevin gave me was the following. Allow me to paraphrase. This is something the status quo vampire big shots would not want hunters to know. They have ghouls all across East Anglia, serving as the backbone of their information network. This allows them to expand the borders of their domain, line their pieces up in the war effort, and most importantly, to get at something. Something that, as of now, remains unknown.
Oh boy.
They have ghouls in several organizations, and as Kevin listed them off by name, that is when he mentioned the Arcanum as one of the afflicted orgs.
I think it makes quite a lot of sense for a high-ranking vampire to want a ghoul within the Arcanum, to make sure they can redact any research that comes a bit too close to breaching their... Masquerade.
Yes, and by that logic, this ghoul has to be fairly new, given that we never discovered them whilst in the Arcanum's employ.
Is that a certainty, 𝚂𝙸𝙃𝙸𝙾𝙽?
Well, of course! One of my primary duties while on staff was guarding against such infiltration. But if you seek more compelling proof, you'll note our scholarship on the vampiric was never redacted whilst we were there.
Wait, hold on. If they, for whatever reason, couldn't get rid of our scholarship whilst we were members, could the ghoul have been involved in getting us banned from the Arcanum?
That would have been easy. Reynolds Blacklaw had been lobbying for our ban since the day we came, after all. And it's not like we respected the Arcanum's rules all that much.
Most of us, at least.
Your point is pointed, though. It means the ghoul might well have existed alongside us, even back then. Nevertheless, this is a side tangent. Further along in the interview, Kevin went ahead and mentioned the Hunter data. Some kind of evil, fucked up data computer hypertech that immediately injects the names, age, and location of all hunters in East Anglia directly into your brainstem!
Didn't you refer to it as a floppy disk earlier?
Yeah? I would assume it flops its way through my ear canal or something. Evil word, the computer is the devil! As I was saying, the Hunter data is, of course, top priority for vampires of any stripe. Should they acquire it, they would know the location and identity of all hunters in the region.
Bloody hell. With that sort of data, they could wipe the lot of us out. Why the hell would you keep something like that?
Huh, blame the Coalition. Under their watch, power and influence over the unaligned hunters will always be a higher priority than their security.
Ah, what idiots! I can start to see why you're so fervently anti-authority, 𝚂𝙃𝙃𝙃.
Excellent! We'll make an enemy of the state of you yet!
I wouldn't go that far.
Regardless, Kevin first learned of the data when he was still part of polite vampire society.
The Camarilla, yeah?
Yes. Did you learn that name during the interview?
They kept bringing it up alongside something called Anarchs and their own Sabbat membership.
That's what I mean when I say practical learning. You'll always get better information out of the local ne'er-do-wells than you ever will from my generalized understanding. But yes, he first learned of it as part of the local Camarilla. But then learned more whilst hanging out with 𝚂𝙁, as apparently the Sabbat had a spy within another org that works with the Arcanum. Allegedly, they finished compiling the Hunter data only recently.
So the ghoul is going to be after that data. But it's likely locked within the archive, so it won't be easy to get at.
I can't imagine the ghoul is in any particular rush if they're a more permanent resident. I can only imagine them getting a bit panicky when we hit the scene. And depending on how they respond, we will respond in kind.
Hopefully we can get through this without wanton violence.
Well...
Now, your room, was it?
Yes, quick! Quickly! Yes, quick! I love my room.
I've been meaning to ask, how did you get that bronze horse statue in here?
Ah, yes, the horse of St. Mark. You see, it's actually made of copper rather than... Wait! Shh! In here.
Sir, this... How have I never seen this? Also, isn't it dangerous to put a ladder in a chimney?
Oh, what? We only burn evidence behind Horse's house anyhow. Now, quiet! Let us head up. Stop here.
Torch on. This is the attic, isn't it? You know, somehow I've never actually been up here.
Shh. Shh.
But
Shut up! Pressure washer attack!
Goodness bleeding gracious, you blasted a hole in the roof cap!
Got away! Damn it!
Oh no, rain's leaking in.
Crawled into the walls!
Oh god, insurance won't cover this.
Do not divest your attention in such worldly things, son-in-law! Did you see it? Or rather, them.
There were more than one?
2. And those creatures, they were not rats.
What?
Here, trumpet! Of course!
what do you hear?
This started in the cellar, didn't it?
It did. That's where we first heard it. Or them.
I have a theory. Come with me! We head for the cellar!
Oh, God!
Stealth into the cellar!
Wait, watch the slippery!
Stab! Shit, 𝚂𝚃𝙸𝙾𝙀!
Damnable ghost of pewter past! Would you look at that?
What's going on?
There is the pressure washer! Throw it down now!
Oh, shit, where is it?
Back, you poor things!
Oh, it's up here! 𝚂𝚃𝙸𝙀, catch!
Take this, you! But where did they go?
Did they go invisible?
No, they ran away at great speed before I could shoot. They could leap at us from any corner.
Shit! 𝚂𝚃𝙸𝙀, blast the roof with the pressure washer.
The roof?
Well, they hated the rain, didn't they? Have water sprout all over the room.
Your brain cracks at the seams. Let's make it rain. 3, 2, 1. Pressure washer, go!
There, from the big pipe in the ceiling. They're leaping down!
Wait! What are they doing?
They're drinking the floor blood?
No, oh no! They're drinking ape's blood! Oh god!
Ah! The clouds have cleared. These creatures have ghouled themselves.
Is that even possible? I'm so confused.
This is a highly unlikely scenario. A vampire's blood usually dusts after only a short while. But Ape was young enough that his vitae remained for longer than usual. But even so, I would have figured the potency of the leftover vitae would have gone by now. Yet it seems it was potent enough to have its effects last until today.
Poor things. They look miserable.
These creatures. I have never seen anything so pathetic in my life.
Well, they're certainly not rats.
Are they not?
Well, no, they're dogs. They're clearly dogs. Greyhounds.
Don't be so sure!
What?
They have drank the blood of the ape boy. Sometimes ghouls can suffer immediate consequences for their imbibement of a particular vampire's vitae. Banes and curses can come both mentally and physically. Look at these beasts. Abnormal, spindly legs, balding, spotty hide, curved abnormal backs, ears like skin flaps, eyes too big for their skulls, snaggled teeth, and this constant nervous shivering when not snout deep, necks unnaturally bent, lapping at that accursed spill. They suffer a goulash of mutations, carried from the drinking of the already highly volatile and beastly blood of the ape.
𝚂𝙸𝙃, these are clearly just normal greyhounds.
There is nothing normal about these goblinoids.
Greyhound owners say the same thing.
Not be so easily deceived. They could be in-stretched rats, predatory muntjacks, or, of course, Gould fey creatures.
We are in too deep.
Look at these gremlin beasts. They shame themselves, no longer suited for the courts of the dreaming.
You're being mean somehow.
Sadly, we must kill them.
Sir.
If we pour epoxy into the vitae, we could make a rudimentary glue trap.
No.
Perhaps an asbestos bomb is in order?
No.
Fine. They are rather cute from a certain angle. Devilish little creatures. Therefore, I will simply and humanely snap at it!
We should take responsibility.
Is that not what I'm doing?
We owe these poor animals more than this.
I hate this as much as you, son-in-law, but this is mercy. It is dangerous to keep them alive. Not only to us, but to themselves.
Why?
Why? Have I not elaborated enough on the why this evening? You have incensed me, son-in-law. Do not interfere.
Sir, you haven't really gotten to the why yet. Not really. But I think I know what it is. It's about your children. It's about Marcus.
As inquisitive as ever.
Just before you do anything to these dogs, answer this. Why are you keeping diablerie and now the mechanics of ghouling a secret?
I suppose I did want to tell you. So I will. I wish you to aid me in preventing Marcus from learning certain truths. Truths these creatures epitomize.
That's what I figured.
For the time being, at least, it must be kept sequestered. You know that ghouls can gain the powers of their Domitor. A fraction of it, but enough to make the ghoul stronger, faster, age far slower, and gain access to vampiric magics. Well, in the chapter house, we will, without doubt, be dealing with an abnormal ghoul, much like these. How abnormal? I cannot say. But their Domitor and Regnant, as I have learned, is one of the most powerful vampires in Norfolk, far outstripping even Diablerist 𝚂𝙁𝙗𝙗.
Well, I see where you're going with this. Marcus is brilliant in his search for optimization. The bloody steak jacket somehow worked to his credit. But do you really think he would stoop so low as to ghoul himself? I can't see that.
Him learning of diablerie from this experiment was a massive mistake. I could have prevented it, I recognize that. But the idea that humans can in essence diablerize vampires, preventing that knowledge from entering his highly eccentric mindset, is not too late. Marcus is willful, brash, arrogant, and stubborn. If he believes he can master vampire vitae without falling prey to its wiles, he will do it. And should he try, he will fail.
I'll be frank.
If you believe these risks are that great, couldn't you just teach him about these dangers before he comes across them himself?
Marcus never lets danger stop him, even at the cost of a functioning brain. Just like his father. Hey, stop squirming! Stop rotating!
Then why let him hunt? If this information can be stumbled upon when hunting like this, why allow Marcus to carry out interrogations and, hell, even experiments on our quarry? If you really think it's that serious, why are you ever allowing him this kind of freedom?
It is not a matter of allowing him. He has chosen this path, as all my children who hunt have. And I am proud of him for it. In time, I shall shape Marcus into a hunter much like myself. I cannot deny that Marcus is already immensely powerful, and in sheer headstrong determination almost surpasses me. But in his pursuits, he hurts himself. Even if he is sat down and taught the risks of, say, imbibing vampire vitae, would he really listen?
I think he would. I really do. At least talking to him would be worth a try.
You might not have noticed, but he sees vampires, what they can do, their power, and yearns for such power himself. He cannot help it. I can fully relate. Almost any hunter can. But that kind of power will damn him. And why would he care if it damns him? His damnation could save thousands. He thinks he can overcome such a curse and balance the scales, but that's hubris. And Marcus has yet to comprehend the true reality of damnation. Only once he discerns it for himself can he know the cost of that path. I was hoping that, given the freedom to face them of his own accord, he would learn. But so far, he instead places blame on me for not serving theory to him, mushed up on a plate.
Okay. All right. All right. I feel you might be underestimating Marcus.
It is your privilege to believe that.
If whatever Kevin told you is true, then Marcus is already likely to see a person that he knows as a ghoul, potentially pulling whatever tricks they've got up their sleeves when cornered.
If it is so, I hope that, in itself, is the lesson that will get through to him. Beyond that, I do not think the ghoul possesses the time, will, or forethought to use any disciplines they may have in a constructive or terribly impressive fashion. Hopefully, this subject will be irrelevant.
Why do you think that? I mean, what will happen if the ghoul does fight back proper?
When the ghoul is found out, either through being starved into admission, or maybe even busted by 𝚂𝚾𝚄 and his soulless sorcery, they might scramble and try to fight back. If they do, we will do what we do best. Pummel them into submission before they can act.
And if they're smart enough to use their powers constructively, what then?
Well, there are few things we can know with certainty about our ghoul. These will be our red truths, drenched in the blood of Kevin himself. Our ghoul's Domitor and Regnant is the Tremere Regent of East Anglia. She's an immensely powerful blood sorcerer and is able to use a wide variety of disciplines. This also means our ghoul has a fair quantity of disciplines they could potentially have.
That is bad.
But this is something I have learned about the Regnant's favored ghouls, particularly those that work as spies. They only have what's useful for their roles. Sharpened senses, the power to bend minds, and, for a special few, blood sorcery. But for most, nothing at all. It is, I am told, considered an irrelevant investment to that most callous regent.
So in the worst case, nothing we haven't dealt with before then?
True! However, You vex me with your concern, sway me to second-guessing myself. It is possible they have been granted another tool. There are certain policies, so-called drafts, that vampiric sorcerers can create with their vitae. These drafts can give another vampire or a ghoul limited access to more powerful magics. If only for a short time.
Oh, God.
These drafts are usually limited to disciplines of strength, speed, and endurance. But, and this is the kicker, here, as far as I know, unique to Norfolk, there is at least one more of these drafts. A draft of domination. With just such a draft, a ghoul could perform even worse acts of mind chicanery. They could give victims complex orders that will be carried out without question. They could even order them to attack their friends and family.
These sound like incredible risks, should they be present during our operation.
We should be moderately wary. Yet the risk of this draft being present, I find, is not outweighed by the risk inherent to Marcus's knowledge expanding too far.
𝚂𝙸𝙃𝙸𝚾𝙽, sorry, but why are you so cavalier towards the threat of this ghoul compared to your worry over Marcus? What if the ghoul ends up a significantly larger threat than you're expecting?
My priorities are not that skewed. If it becomes relevant, I will have to give in and inform. Oh my God, I'm informing.
No, not again. 𝚂𝙃𝙃.
Fine. And you will have to help me clean up the inevitable mess. Not the vomit, the ghoul stuff.
Fair.
Yet even so, I am confident. No matter how powerful their master is, they've walked into the lion's den. They could never hope to defeat 5 prepared hunters, a Celtic martial artist, and a really bigoted Belgian. They have no hope, and frankly, I believe Reynolds will be a bigger threat to us than any ghoul. There'll be enough suffering for this poor victim even before the grand reveal. I aim for a peaceful solution. I do genuinely hope we can help them in the end.
That is a wise choice, I will agree. But with that, sir, could we not please have the same fate go for these dogs? Look, you've just been holding them for this entire conversation and they've done nothing.
You have lured me into the glue trap of a moral conundrum, which I will utilitarianism my way out of! Prepare yourself, canine!
Wait! Okay. If you are willing to kill these animals for the sake of Marcus's continued ignorance, at least tell me, when do you think Marcus will be ready?
That is something I cannot tell you. Not yet.
In all honesty, sir, and sorry, I must be rather harsh here, you are being irrational.
Why,
I can't see Marcus ever going as far as you are worried he might. I see a headstrong attitude, I see recklessness, and I see a want to one-up the opposition in creative and unexpected ways. But abusing vampire blood? No. What worries me far more is the fact that this secrecy of yours is creating rifts between you two. He doesn't trust you. He knows you are keeping things from him. I mean, you should know. He complains about it constantly.
Yes, I have worried somewhat about our relationship as of late.
I think you should consider that perhaps what you're seeing here is a projection of yourself and your own failures.
Not a projection. A reflection. I see in him myself in my younger days. I see a dark future that can still be halted in its tracks. And I see that ghouldom is only the surface of an abyssal trench. One Marcus has already once stared into.
What do you mean?
What? I'm not on the earth making a mistake. I'm all right, son-in-law. Let me tell you the tale. It was 1988. Marcus was 12 years old. We were parked down in Norfolk Island, off the coast of Australia.
Norfolk Island?
Don't question it. On our exploration of the island's locale, we were dealing with the pernicious 𝚂𝙬, a bitter local legend.
Interesting.
Like these beasts, but far more murderous. I shan't say much else specific, for the nature of the 𝚂𝙬 is far beyond our current purview. Suffice to say, we were thrust into a net of intrigue and horror, with a sadistic 𝚂𝙬 king at its center. We were ultimately forced to make a choice. The details are too awful to recount here in full, but in short, the only way to halt a heinous curse on the land would be to send one of our own to be a thrall of the king in his court for the next 40 years.
What? You mean... Oh... This is what happened to Marcus's brother...
Don't say his name. Please.
I'm sorry.
Marcus knew what was going to happen. And despite his youth, in a bid to save his dear brother, he made a horrible mistake.
What on earth are you talking about, 𝚳𝙸𝙃?
In his attempts to thwart this dark bargain, he believed he could make another. Marcus thought he was channeling a rival power in the 𝚂𝙬 court. Instead, he made direct contact with something far, far worse. A dreadful alien presence, an unfathomable evil. It is beyond description, son-in-law. An outer force. Not a monster, not a demon. A thing.
I've never heard of this.
I know not how he did it. Perhaps through the lore and the tools I left carelessly within his reach. Perhaps through his inherent sorcerous aptitude, I know not. But for a moment, just a moment, a connection was made. And the abyss, for a time, closed in around us.
The abyss?
Door, horse, Anton. We all moved quickly. Severed the ritual, severed the connection. But that entity, that thing, it is still out there, son-in-law. Waiting, watching, hungering. Marcus's potential burns bright. You know this more than anyone. He can be the best of us. The best of all of us. Yet it is that same promise that can damn him lower than any other. Our plan to thwart the bargain failed because of that ritual. That day, I lost a son. It was not the first time. But it shall be the last. I shall not lose another. Never again! Never again!
𝚳𝙗𝙃.
Marcus will grow! He will flourish! He will reach the heights that await him! But he must do so with my guidance! Without it, he could be lost in ways you cannot fathom! Do you understand? Without my wisdom, he is doomed! Should he part the dark too quickly, it already waits to engulf him whole! It knows him! It knows my son! No, that as far as what the supernatural is, as far as what we must face, as far as the true horrors of reality are concerned, ghouls are specks of dirt at the tip of the froth on the surface of a trench so deep it is literally impossible for us to fathom. Ghouls and vampires, the fight against them is integral to our reckoning. It lays the very groundwork for our whole operation, make no mistake. But there are realities out there that are simply too far beyond you. And Marcus, in his youth no less, got a glimpse of the million eyes that stare from the bottom of that trench, and their gaze followed, even as he looked away.
Why has he never told me this?
Because he forgot.
Forgot? How?
That I cannot say.
I understand.
So, please, even if you cannot see it, please, just wait a little while longer before you say too much. Just a little more.
That's gracious.
Please, just say, how about... Yes, the release of that video game you two keep nattering about. The one you are so excited about being released after 10 years in development.
Team Fortress 2?
Yes! Team Fortress 2! When it is released, I will talk to him. I swore I will even play it with you.
Will you?
I will play it, and as we video game play, running about in the virtual space, happy and sedated and content, I will tell him everything.
Okay, but wait, the official release date or the beta release?
Yes! Let us shake on it!
No.
What?
Counterproposal. I will not tell Marcus anything until TF2 releases, as long as the dogs are left alive.
Really now?
I will lie to Marcus about what these little buggers are, as well as why they're here.
And what do you intend with them?
It is possible to wean someone off of being a ghoul, right?
Rosalia suffered through her life as a ghoul. We tried to save her, but I failed. I hear that after our final goodbye, she got better. But I don't know how she managed it, because I divorced her and left Poland forever. She is celebrating 108 this year, I hear. And I'm very happy for her.
Wow. Good. That's great to hear. Then we have, well, something to work with.
Is it a deal then?
Sure is.
And that is why you are my number one son-in-law.
Not. Marcus is. And Boy. And all the others.
Well,
I am happy being number one-in-law.
Well said. And stupid alleged hounds whom are clearly fey beasts, welcome to the team. Fortress 2?
Hell yeah.
Well, until you manage to unhook yourselves, little skim nymphs, we are your Domitors.
Huh?
After all, we're the ones providing the goods.
Oh, God.
Listen, new grandchildren.
Sorry?
You will live in the attic. Any other vermin who enters this house, barring Mr. Smarples the cat, oh goodness, I do hope you all get along, you will either chase out, eat, or forced to join your pack. A pack loyal to our family.
This is... right, okay.
Come, let us show Marcus his new attic children.
Wait, what?
Marcus, wake up! You're a parent now! Oh, congratulations!
Oh boy. I'll just... Just when I think I start to understand things, I better put this stuff in bags, I guess. Oh, it's sticky.
Okay everybody, it's me, called at Arranged, here to review the Mummy book. So how it works is that you're a ghost who looks like this, ooh, very scary, and you're very old, you're like 5 billion years old, like this, and then you died, and then there's a new guy here, a modern man, he goes, hey, here I am, but then he also fucking died. You and him are one ghost with a baseball cap here, and you go, hey. Now that we got that out of the way, this is my character. He's a Bane Mummy bug buddy. As you can see here, he's very broken up, and he has a bandage over his head. He's the biggest rock star you've ever seen. Abraham Lincoln, who's also a mummy in my setting. He saved America. He built a pyramid out of logs, like this. And that's it for today.